Hello and welcome to Unacademy. We will discuss a very important question which has generated a lot of controversy for now decades, which is, could Gandhi have saved Bhagat Singh? Now, this is from the UPSC perspective an important question because it can come in the mains perspective. But as an Indian, you should also have an understanding that what was the opportunity which Gandhi had within the concept of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact to commute the death sentence of Bhagat Singh. Now, before we begin, you will find the PPT of this session in this Telegram channel. You just have to scan this, and the link is given also in the description box. Now, what I've done is I've broken down this whole concept into 4 to 5 acts, which is we have to discuss the HRA, the HSRA. Then we will discuss the first act, which is avenging Lalaji's death. Lajpat Rai was killed by an officer when he was peacefully protesting against Simon Commission. Then we'll talk about the central legislative bombing. Then we'll talk about what happened in the trials itself. And in the end, we'll try to come together and we'll bring everything together as a way of getting a context in order to understand what really happened when Gandhi met Irwin in that regard. Now, we know that the HRA was the original institution. The HRA was formed as a way of bringing back revolutionary spirit. And the Kakori robbery, or the Kakori train incident as it is called, will in turn lead to the destruction of the HRA because everybody will be arrested, where they will be able to loot the railway gold, but will not be able to, in a way, store it in such a way that they don't get caught. The revivalism of HRA happens under Chandrasekhar Azad and Bhagat Singh as the HSRA, with Hindustan Republican Army becoming the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army, wherein the ideas of the Bolshevik Revolution and now Marx and the idea of freedom, true meaning of freedom being freedom from all forms of exploitation, now permeating through Bhagat Singh himself. So the HSRA is going to become a very important body which is now trying to take out or at least revive the HRA legacy. And this is where they will get a major impetus because of the Simon Commission. Because the Simon Commission was all British or all white, there was a major wave of protest in which what will happen is that J. Scott is going to kill Lala Lajpat Rai when he is going to protest against the Simon Commission. He will repeatedly hit Lala Lajpat Rai on the head, which will in turn lead to his death. Now, this was seen to be a major blot on the youth of the Indian subcontinent, that the Sher-e-Punjab was dead and his death needed to be avenged. This is where the HSRA will now plan on 10th December 1927 itself that we are going to kill J. Scott, the superintendent of police who was involved. The conspiracy involved Chandrasekhar Azad, Sukhdev, Bhagat Singh, Kishori Lal, Shivram, Rajguru, Mahabir Singh and Jai Gopal. Jai Gopal was the person who was asked to identify J. Scott. However, on the fateful day it happened, Jai Gopal mistook Saunders as Scott, and Saunders was killed, and in broad daylight, Bhagat Singh and Rajguru will shoot this assistant commissioner or assistant superintendent of police in that regard, today an ACP as known as ASP at that point of time, and Saunders will be dead. Now, the beauty of what today we call as Lahore conspiracy case or Saunders murder is that the British did not know who actually shot him. They did not know who Rajguru is. They did not know who Bhagat Singh was. They only had a name, which is HSRA. And when it comes to assassinations, this is considered to be one of the most successful ones because they were able to kill an officer. Nobody got caught. And at least for a year, the British had a major intelligence failure because they were not able to identify any of these men and not even Bhagat Singh. And this is a very important detail in our story because when Bhagat Singh will be caught at the Central Legislative Assembly, they did not know that he's the same person who shot Saunders. A very, very important point. Scott was the original target. Saunders will be shot, sometimes also called Saunders murder or Scott's, you can say, assassination attempt. But the idea is, this is where the British for the first time see Bhagat Singh face to face, but also not in a way. But Bhagat Singh had now done a very big thing, which is killed an officer to avenge his death. Now, the second act is when they want to make the deaf ear hear, which is the Central Legislative Assembly bombing. This is where Bhagat Singh did not want to run away. he wanted to now create a forum of revolutionary activities, which is the concept of the court. The British, since the beginning, had argued that they are the ones who introduced rule of law into India. However, he wanted to show that the rule of law was nothing but the rule of the British. It was a mockery of what is called a sense of justice, and the British were nothing but ruling India at the, you can say, the edge of the sword itself and through force. Now, when on 8th April 1929, Bhagat Singh and Dutt are going to throw the bomb itself, it was a sounding bomb, we already know that. It was against the passage of two very draconian and problematic bills which were introduced. Over and above that, when they did that, they gave out slogans such as Inqilab Zindabad or Rang De Basandi, but they did not run away. They did not run away. It is a sounding bomb. It was to make a statement. That is when H.D. Terry is going to enter into the visiting gallery. Bhagat Singh or even that are not going to resist. They will just court arrest and say, take us, no issues. But once they will get arrested, then the HSRA will get, in a way, revealed to the world. And that is where, when they enter into the legal zone, the HSRA, with all these members getting arrested eventually because of the Central Legislative Assembly, their objective was that we have to create a new forum of propaganda, which is we have to show that the courts are nothing but a sham. That is why whenever they used to be produced in front of the court itself, they used to never even plead guilty or say anything. They just used to say, Inqilab Zindabad, Rang De Basanti, long live the revolution. The idea was to show that the British are the ones who are the real criminals in India. Further, there is going to be a very important attempt to reform the jails itself, in which we will lose Jatin Das also. But till this point, the British have no idea. That is why they were being tried in a sessions court. And the original sentence which was given, or which was going to be given, and in a way had been pronounced also, but they had actually delayed the process of the, you can say, pronouncement itself, was under section 307, life imprisonment and going to Kala Pani. But the idea was just before that sessions court could give the original judgment, which would then have become something as a word of law, though word of law itself means nothing to the British. Now comes the betrayal and Irwin's personal project, which is the Bhagat Singh project. Now the betrayal comes because of the following men, which is the 7 approvers. Now, who's an approver? When we talk about an approver is a person who was involved in a crime but becomes government witness or becomes a person who is now helping the police by giving a testimony itself. So the approver's testimony is considered very, very important. He's a government witness. He's a person who basically was part of the group, but for now leniency is going to accept that he's going to basically tell you who were the conspirators, what was the concept itself. Now, approver's testimony has 2 very important judicial precedents. First, it has to be done under free will. Second, if even one approver says, for example, there are 3 approvers, even if one approver says that I have been made to sign on this testimony by force and I did not do it through free will, then all approvers' testimony are null and void. This is where what is going to happen is that Ram Saran Das, Brahm Dutt, Manmohan Banerjee and Lalit Kumar Mukherjee, all 4 will protest that we were made to, in a way, connect the dots between the Saunders murder and Central Legislative Assembly bombing. The idea was, even when Bhagat Singh was produced in front of the court, they did not know he's the same person who has shot Saunders. It is Jay Gopal, Ghosh and Hansraj Vora who said that you don't know who you actually have arrested. He's the same person who has shot Saunders. And as soon as Irwin and the British get to know that he's the same person who was involved in the Lahore conspiracy case, now Irwin will make it a point to create an example out of Bhagat Singh. Because Bhagat Singh was a very towering leader, very influential amongst the youth. And this is where he's going to make sure that he becomes an example of what the British do to the revolutionaries. And this is where, as soon as these 3 men will betray, because interestingly, when these four retracted their approvers' testimony, the Jayagopal, Ghosh and Hansraj Vora testimony should also have been removed, because the second rule is even if one testimony is made null and void, all have to be done that. But this is where the first transgression happened. This is where the first, you can say, they subverted the legal process in order to make sure that at least three men are witnesses, or at least they are approvers in this whole story. This is the first, not the first time, but in this whole episode, the first time where they subvert the legal process. Then what Irwin does is, he's now going to use an ordinance for which the sentencing had been delayed, and now shift the case from a sessions court to a special tribunal with high court judges, 3 high court judges. He also is going to use the emergency provision within Government of India Act 1919 to make sure that there is no court of appeal available to Bhagat Singh and his comrades. One thing which is equally interesting is prosecuting Bhagat Singh constituted as a national emergency at that point of time, a power which the Viceroy used to have. So this is the second subversion of judicial process, wherein the ordinance was in a way made it to tailor-made, or rather tailor-made for Bhagat Singh, so that his emergency powers could be used to shift this case very quickly. Once the realization comes through the betrayal itself, then there's a shift. Now, I've already told you that the approvers' testimony, all 7 of them did not go through, only 3 went. And when out of these 3 judges, 1 was an Indian, when he got to know that there's a subversion of legal process, he recused himself from the case. Now, under the ordinance and under the act under which this tribunal had been established, there was a rule that if a judge recuses himself, there has to be a cool down period of 3 months, meaning the next appointment of the judge has to happen within 3 months. And before that, it would be considered illegal in the judicial procedure itself. However, as soon as the High Court judge is going to recuse himself, overnight he's going to be replaced. And this is the third time when Irwin is going to make sure that there's no delay in the process of the conviction of Bhagat Singh. What I'm trying to establish to you is one thing very clearly, which is that Bhagat Singh was his personal project, Irwin's personal project. He wanted to make sure that through the ordinance, through the subversion of legal procedure, through hook and crook, he wanted to make sure that Bhagat Singh is created as an example. Remember this point, because when Gandhi is going to meet Irwin, this is going to be a very important factor. Does not fully vindicate Gandhi, but the idea is that there is an element where Irwin was non-negotiable on this matter, whilst he was negotiating on other matters. So, from avenging Sher-e Punjab's death, to the bombing itself, to now getting betrayed by his own comrades, and now getting, you can say, linked up with the Lahore conspiracy case, Bhagat Singh was now Irwin's personal project. Now, herein lies the question with which we started this session. Could Gandhi have done something to commute his death for example, from hanging to life imprisonment? Did Gandhi take interest in doing that? Now, there are 2 factions here. I'm not going to judge. I will leave you to judge. You are going to write your judgment in the comment section. Do you think Gandhi did enough or he didn't? And would Irwin had or have agreed to commute Bhagat Singh's original sentencing under Lahore conspiracy case tribunal, which is the tribunal conviction in that regard? Now, when we talk about Gandhi and commutation, it is believed that Gandhi from the get-go on 4th May 1930 itself sent a letter to Irwin objecting to the creation of a special tribunal, meaning though Gandhi has an ideological incongruence with Bhagat Singh, because Gandhi believes in ahimsa, in non-violence, and Bhagat Singh in a way is a revolutionary, and he represents this idea of assassination and action against the British itself, which is active resistance and passive resistance. So it was believed that Gandhi didn't care from the beginning itself. For him, Bhagat Singh was just one revolutionary. That is not true, because Gandhi from the get-go, from on May 4th, 1930 itself, is going to write to Irwin that what you're doing with regards to creation of special tribunal is wrong. He wrote to Irwin, you have found a shortcut through the law's delay in the matter of the trial of Bhagat Singh and others by doing away with the ordinary or original procedure. This is a very important point, because he himself understands that by creating a special tribunal, what is going to happen is that the original and ordinary procedure of law is going to be subverted, and he's found a shortcut. So the delays and the process which would have in turn led to maybe the commutation or even Bhagat Singh would have been alive, now you have supercharged and accelerated that process. So Gandhi-Irwin, the idea is that Bhagat Singh was always a subject for Gandhi, and Gandhi wrote to him saying that this is not correct. This is not correct. Is it any wonder if I call all of these official activities a veiled form of martial law? So Gandhi knew what is happening. We all understood this. This is what Bhagat Singh also wanted. In a way, Bhagat Singh succeeded in doing what he wanted to do, which is to show that the law in India was a sham. It was just a mockery of law itself. The rule of law was the rule of the British. And this is where Gandhi also understood that. So it's not that he did not care till 1931. It's in the beginning of 1930 itself, he was able to understand what is happening. As soon as the approvers' testimonies come through, Irwin's project starts, and Gandhi points that out. Now, what happened with regards to Gandhi-Irwin Pact? The context for that, as you know, is the civil disobedience movement. Civil disobedience movement phase 1 is going to start. There will be a lot of, you can say, momentum which this movement is going to gain, all India level movement, a lot, the marches, which were salt marches which were going on. We have the anti-Chaukidari campaign. We have the concept of the Cunningham Circular. We have a lot of things which are happening at that point of time. But as you know, Gandhi believes in what is called a struggle to struggle. So when we talk about struggle to struggle generally, his struggle was now overheating. The first roundtable conference had happened. Irwin was desperate and had got a certain order from London itself that you have to bring the INC to the negotiating table. This is where the negotiating table needed, in a way, a truce with Gandhi or the INC. And these two things converge. Gandhi looking for a truce, though he was actually jailed at that point of time, and Irwin looking for a way to bring the INC to the second roundtable conference, making that process itself meaningful. And that will culminate in the process of what is called as the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Gandhi-Irwin Pact was, in a way, Gandhi's way of suspending the CDM. He will go to the second roundtable conference, nothing will happen, Minorities Pact is going to destroy the second roundtable conference negotiations, and he will come back and start CDM phase 2. But in that meantime, Bhagat Singh was martyred on 23rd March. That is why we're having this conversation also. But the point is, what happened in the closed doors? Did Gandhi insist, or was Bhagat Singh one of the demands which Irwin would have agreed to if he had insisted? Now, there are again two factions here. When we talk about the Gandhi-Irwin Pact negotiations, Bhagat Singh was originally not part of the conversation on February 18th, 1931. He was just a footnote or a side note in that conversation, not the original set of demands come through. If you will read any other book, for example, Spectrum or any other book, it will say that Gandhi took 10 demands with him, out of which 2 were not accepted by Irwin. One is police excesses should be, in a way, inquired about, and the commutation of the death of Bhagat Singh and his comrades. But as it turns out, if you go into the archive, you will realize Mahadev Desai, who was present there, wrote in his diary that Gandhi did not make it a demand, rather a request. That too, as a passing reference, which is Gandhi had told the Viceroy that although this has no connection with our discussion, and it may be inappropriate on my part to mention it, if you want to make the present atmosphere more favorable, you should suspend Bhagat Singh's execution. This is where the word suspension matters. Gandhi had not asked for commutation. All these books which we basically read for UPSC and have normalized also, in a way we have to teach that also. because even the NCRTs and everywhere it says commutation of the death of Bhagat Singh. It is not commutation, and here we revise our own understanding, is he asked for suspension of his execution. Gandhi was trying to buy time. He thought that Irwin is going to, in a way, maybe go lenient on him. This is where Gandhi's insistence is not on commutation, but on suspension, and that too is a passing reference. On the morning of 23rd March, they will be executed. He will also write to the Viceroy one day before that you should please suspend the sentence, but the plea will be rejected. Gandhi insisted 3 times. First, he objected to the tribunal, and one he objected on the February 18th negotiation, but not very strongly. And the third is when he basically is going to get black flags across India itself because he was not able to secure anything for Bhagat Singh. That is when, just before his death, he is going to write another letter to the Viceroy that you should suspend. But the point is, Gandhi is still using the word suspension. You go to any other book, it will say commutation. Commutation is not what Gandhi asked for. What he asked for, and this is where I cannot teach you this, but I want you to know, because the narrative which is produced in the public sphere is it was commutation. No, it is not commutation. It is suspension. And this is where Gandhi just wanted to buy time so that he could further negotiate. That was his way of negotiation. But this is where you have to also come up with this idea that would Irwin have agreed to the commutation? This is the question which I want you to answer, because Bhagat Singh was Irwin's personal project. Even if Gandhi had, in a way, made it a condition, a lot of people say that Gandhi should have not accepted Gandhi-Irwin Pact because Bhagat Singh's commutation or suspension, now we know, was not accepted by Irwin. Now, if you see the things which Irwin was ready to agree to make Gandhi and the INC go to the second roundtable conference, you will realize why Gandhi may have not insisted too much. Because Irwin agreed on the behalf of the government of India that he would release all political prisoners not convicted of violence. He would remit all the fines which have not been collected at this point of time, return all the lands which had been sold to third party because of CDM itself, lenient treatment of government servants who had resigned during the process of CDM, peaceful and non-aggression picketing would be allowed, withdrawal of all emergency provisions and emergency ordinances other than the one used for Bhagat Singh, salt law would be amended, and peaceful agitation against liquor would be allowed. These were the 8 demands which he accepted. Police excesses inquiry did not accept, and quote unquote the commutation of the death sentence of Bhagat Singh was not accepted, which we know was just a basic request that you suspend his execution rather than commute it. Now, this is where you have to understand that Gandhi had too much on his plate to gain out of Gandhi-Irwin Pact for insisting on Bhagat Singh. Let's assume that he left out, or he said that I am not going to negotiate further until unless the death sentence of Bhagat Singh is commuted. The point of the matter is, if Gandhi had not taken Gandhi-Irwin Pact, still Bhagat Singh would have died. And if he took it, still Bhagat Singh would have died. This is where there's a very interesting, you can say, coincidence of interest that Irwin would have never agreed to commuting his death sentence, because Irwin knew that Lahore conspiracy case was an example-setting moment. So now I again leave it to you and your judgment and morality. Here is Gandhi talking to Irwin. Irwin says, I will do all of this, which is very big because 80,000 satyagrahis were in the jail at this point of time. He said, I will release everybody. I will not take the what we call as fines. I will return all the land back. I will do all of this. You only have to go to second roundtable conference. And if Gandhi had said, I will leave all of this, you only have to commute the death sentence of Bhagat Singh. I leave it to your morality to decide what would Gandhi have done and would Irwin had agreed? Irwin, either way, would make sure that Bhagat Singh is executed. Because if Gandhi leaves the deal, still he will execute. If Gandhi is taking the deal, still he executes. Now, there is a criticism that Gandhi did not insist. Which is that he intervened too late and too slow. So, he did not effectively create pressure. A.G. Nurani, one of the most important personalities in this narrative, which is The Politics of Justice, The Trial of Bhagat Singh, a very interesting book which he wrote. He says that Gandhi alone had the right and the power to intervene effectively to save Bhagat Singh's life, but he did not till the very last, which is too late, too little. One of the comrades of Bhagat Singh, Yashpal, wrote in his autobiography that Gandhi considered creating moral pressure on prohibition of alcohol as important, but he did not consider creating pressure for the commutation of the sentence of Bhagat Singh as important as alcohol. Further, a journalist who has gone through the papers related to the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, D.P. Das, he argues that Gandhi genuinely believed that the Delhi Pact, which is the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, was more important than one or two revolutionaries. Now, this is the other extreme of the argument where they argue that Gandhi didn't care. Let's for 1 minute take both the arguments. Gandhi cared, and he did not care. If you actually understand the analogy, I leave it to you. Did Gandhi do enough? Suspension. He never talked about commutation. He always used to say that I tried, but he never tried commutation. He's already at wrong there itself. But I would leave to you this question that is Gandhi actually in a position to save Bhagat Singh? This is a very important question. We give Gandhi importance in this story. And there's a new type of historiography which is coming through, which argues that Gandhi is not that important that Irwin is going to actually listen to him. Irwin had personal interest to send the INC to the roundtable conferences. He agreed to maximum possible, which will also be retracted by Wellington very quickly. But did Gandhi care? We have instances where he is protesting against the tribunal. Did Gandhi not care? Because he talked about suspension, not commutation. Did Gandhi care that he actually, in the conversation of the Delhi Pact itself, had a request about Bhagat Singh? Or did he not care because he just, as a passing reference, said it? My question to you is, does the outcome change? Does the outcome change? This is a question which I discuss in class and I give a poll to my students. Does the outcome change here? Gandhi cared or not cared? Irwin had made sure and would have made sure that any negotiation would have gone down the drain, but Bhagat Singh would reach till the execution point for sure. Now, this is where A.G. Nurani made a very interesting statement in his book. And somehow it sums up our conversation also quite well, which is, it is doubtful if there was any political trial in which the regime's grim determination to evict its political foe from the scene was accomplished by such violations of the norms of justice and was matched by such willing compliance by the judges in the aim as in the Bhagat Singh's trial. This is what I want to argue to you, that this question is in a way irrelevant, which is, could Gandhi have saved Bhagat Singh? In a way, Gandhi had no real power over Irwin. Even if he had insisted and given up on the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Irwin had made sure that his political foe, the most towering leader of that time, would reach to the gallows because it was his personal project. And this is where the politics of justice was done. In a way, Bhagat Singh proved to us that when it came to prosecuting someone, convicting someone, the British would do through hook and crook, through subversion of their own understanding, something or the other to make sure that you reach to the final outcome. I would like to know your take on this. I have kept the facts in front of you. The Saunders murder, the central legislative bombing, the betrayal, and Irwin's interest. Gandhi, what he did, protest with regards to tribunal, wrote to Irwin, before the death sent a message, and on 18th February had a conversation with Irwin in passing reference about suspension. Gandhi also did not create too much moral pressure. He did not sit on a dharna. He did not sit on a fast. He did not create enough pressure. That is for sure. That is for sure. But Gandhi is a man of his principles. Gandhi already had an incongruence with Bhagat Singh. Though Gandhi had never requested anything for a revolutionary, this is the first time Gandhi is talking about Bhagat Singh also. There is no way or no need to justify what Gandhi did. I am not here to sanitize his image or try to say that, no, Gandhi tried. Did he try too less, too little? Yes. But my question to you is a totally different one. Even if Gandhi had sat on a new movement, second CDM phase would have started, Irwin would never have agreed to anything because Irwin had a personal interest in making sure that Bhagat Singh is dead. This is where this controversy is based on the wrong question itself. Could Gandhi have saved Bhagat Singh? Gandhi has no such agency over the British at that point of time. And as it is, the British will undercut all of the agency he had as soon as they will come back from the second roundtable conference, and Wellington is going to backtrack on everything. The question is, was Irwin ever going to budge on the idea that I'm going to commute the death of Bhagat Singh in order to make sure that my rule in India is prolonged? And to that question, I think I have successfully established that it was a political project. It was the politics of justice. And therefore, there was no way he was ever going to agree. Still, if you think that Gandhi could have saved Bhagat Singh and created, you can say, right amount of pressure, and in turn would have led to the commutation of Bhagat Singh, I want you to tell me that in the comment section. If you think that Gandhi did right and wrong, again, I want to know your opinion. I'm a historian. I'm here to tell you a story. My job is not to judge, but to reconstruct and reiterate. I'm a storyteller. So I'm telling you a story. I'm giving you a certain nudge in a certain direction, giving you the logical explanation here. But I also want to know that was this more than what it seems? Was Gandhi actually in a position, and was Irwin ever going to agree? I hope that you found this session useful. These controversial questions, for example, Gandhi-Godse, where I discussed the concept of was Godse right or wrong, where again I asked for your opinion. And in the same way, today I'm asking you this question: who was right, who was wrong? Totally on you. Would like to know it in the comment section. If you like these type of sessions which try to complicate issues which are either not dealt with in the right sense, there's a lot of information on this, based on a lot of different wrong or right perspectives. I don't want to answer this question in the wrong way. Rather, I want to change the question itself. Was Gandhi interested in Bhagat Singh or not is the wrong question. It is, was Irwin ever going to allow Bhagat Singh to live when he had known that he is Saunders' murderer? More than that, was it not a politics of justice and the subversion of his own? If Irwin would have gone to the extent to introduce an ordinance for Bhagat Singh, what would have Gandhi done? Gandhi does not have this much agency over Irwin, but was Gandhi an opportunist is also a very important question. Did he actually just make sure that the whole process does not break down because he also wanted the Gandhi-Irwin Pact to go through, is also an interesting question. That is where circumstances and closed door politics is where you have to understand what Gandhi did. Was it a strategic move? And was the cost of accepting all of this enough for Bhagat Singh's life? Multiple questions, multiple answers. I leave it to you to decide through your morality and ethics. But I hope that I've given you at least a refreshed perspective about this. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.